Hi everyone, I'm Captain Mark Henderson with Taco Marine and the Liquid Fire Fishing Team, and we are here today with Captain Scott Wenzel of 4 Reel Fishing Charters out of Isla, Florida, and we're going to be installing our brand new SuproFlex Rub Rail on their 2006 Sea Pro Bay Boat. I want to show you a few neat features about the new SuproFlex profiles. It's a co-extruded product, which means that it has 2 different levels of hardness. The back part of it is a harder durometer, and the front part is a softer, supple durometer that helps with cushioning. It's a really light profile. It creates a couple of voids in here that helps reduce the weight. It's a really easy product to install. You can see it's very supple, it's easy to bend, the easy wear along the horizontal as well as bending it on the vertical bend also. This is the insert that goes with the new SuproFlex Rub Rail. It's a really nice product, got a clear base. The face of this one is a black pearl. We also have it in what's called Flex Chrome. It's a silver product that takes the place and look of stainless steel with no fasteners. If you're a boat builder, we can customize the insert to whatever color that you prefer. The kit includes a coil of SuproFlex Rub Rail, a coil of Flex Chrome, as well as 2 stainless steel end caps and stainless steel fasteners. The tools you're going to need to install the SuproFlex Rub Rail are a cordless drill, acetone, shop rags, drill bits, as well as marine silicone and a razor knife for cutting. The first thing that you need to do when replacing your rub rail is exactly what Scott's done on this boat. He has removed all of the old rub rail in the insert. He's taken the fasteners off and out of the way. He's also cleaned the surface with some acetone, scraped any old silicone off the surface, so that way it is prepared and ready to receive the new SuproFlex. Now that Scott has prepared the surface, we want to make sure that we go around the cap of the boat and mark anywhere that an existing screw is so that we make sure that we don't drill into the head of that screw and cause damage. With the surface of the cap prepped and cleaned and ready for new rub rail, and the screws have been marked to make sure that we don't hit those when we're drilling, we want to go ahead, lay out the rub rail, find the center point so that we can begin from the bow, and we'll show you how to stretch and install this product. As we lay out the product, one thing that you want to make sure that you do is as you lay it across the floor, it's kind of like a hose. When you want to uncoil it, it's been coiled up, so just make sure that you uncoil it nice and straight, and then we'll pull it back on itself and find the center point. Now that we've got the rub rail uncoiled and straight, we're going to bring it back to touch one end to the other. That way we find the center point of the rub rail so that we can start at the bow. Now that we found the center point, I'm just going to mark it with a piece of tape so that we don't lose it. If you've got a couple extra sets of hands around, it helps for someone to be on both ends and one person in the middle. That way you can pick it up, move it to the front of the boat without scuffing the rub rail. Now that we've taken all of the rub rail up to the front and the bow, we're going to take the one side that will be the port side of the rub rail, take it across the front and lay it on the other side of the boat so that we can install it starting at the bow and coming down each side. Now that we've taken the rub rail on the port side, we're going to take the starboard side rub rail, put it up on the cap, make sure it's off the floor, and we're going to go install the screws right at the front and then come down the side and show you how to stretch it and install it. Now that we've found the center, marked it, and taken the rub rail down both sides of the boat, what we're going to do is start the installation process. I found this spot right here. We're going to drill and put the number 8 pan head screw right into the rub rail. We're going to put a couple of marks right here and a couple of screws right inside to hold the rub rail into place, and we'll show you how to install. Another great thing about this product is that we've drilled it 8-inch on center, so you've got a really nice starting point for making your drill hole. Okay, after installing the first screw, I want to make sure that I put my second screw toward the aft side of the boat. So we're going to go ahead, make a drill, put the screw in. This will allow us to stretch the material some to make a straight line. We're going to do the exact same procedure on the port side. We're going to get a couple of screws in here. That way we can stretch the rub rail, tack it, and make sure it's secure at the stern, pull it up, and then go all the way down the side with the screws. Let me show you how to do that. SuproFlex properties are a little bit different. That requires it to be stretched a little bit when putting it on the boat. So right here, after we've secured it to the bow, we're going to pull it right across the top cap and secure it at the stern. Now that we've draped it over the top, we're going to secure it right here at the stern with a screw that we're going to later remove, but it'll allow us to stretch it over the cap. Scott and I are going to show you how to stretch this material right over the cap to make a really nice, pretty line with this rub rail that lines up right with this part of the shear line. One of the benefits to this method is that it keeps you from struggling with 2 or 3 people trying to pull the material all the way down. What it does is it holds it tight, it makes a nice straight line, and you can go right down, make your drills, and install your screws. It'll be pretty when it's finished. It really helps to have a couple of people. It makes the process go a lot faster. So what's going to happen right here is Scott's going to actually drill the holes in the pre-drilled holes that we've got. He's going to drill through the cap, and then I'm going to come behind him and install with this torque gun the number 8 pan head 1-inch screws. That's what you want to make sure that you use in this product. So we're going to make this nice and pretty, and we're going to expedite it and make it really quick to install and finish out this rub rail process. Another thing you want to make sure that you do when you go to torque your screws into the rub rail, you want to make sure that you don't over torque it. That's one reason we're using a pan head screw. It's flat on the bottom, so it distributes the torque and the pressure on the rub rail. All you really need to do is, if you're using a torque gun or a drill gun, is to set your torque pressure to where when it touches the rub rail, it stops. That's all it needs. So don't over torque and do not use countersunk screws. Remember a while ago when we stretched it, put this temporary screw in here? We're going to remove it now so that we can continue on with the installation of the rub rail right around this turn. It's going to make a nice, pretty turn right to the end of the transom. I'll show you how to do it. Now that we've removed the anchor screw that we talked about, I'm going to have Danny and Scott stretch the material a little bit while I set another anchor screw right here about 3 inches prior to the transition on the turn. What that's going to do is make a nice, easy center point to where I can come off of the front, toward the front, and finish screwing in the rub rail on these couple of areas right here. Then we're going to make this turn. As you can see, there's no buckling and no puckering. This is going to look really good. Around the transition, what I'm going to do is make sure that we've got one screw right in the center. That way it holds it nice and tight. And then we'll probably put another screw right here at the beginning of the turn and one right at the end of the turn. Okay, we've gotten to the end of the transom and to the corner of the splash well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another screw right here. I'm not going to cover this area with a screw yet because we've got the stainless steel end caps that we're going to trim and we're going to put it on right here. This is going to look really pretty. You can see this turn right across the transom right here did really nice. There's no puckering, no gaps. It looks really good. Now that we've got the starboard side complete, we're going to repeat the exact same action on the port side of the boat and get this thing finished up. We finished the installation of the rub rail down both sides, so now we're going to show you how to install the insert. We're going to do the exact same thing, find the center point, lay it down both sides, and go to install the insert inside the rub rail. Let's show you how to do it. I'm going to hold the insert while Scott takes it down one side of the boat. Go ahead, Scott. I just put the insert, laid it across the cap just like I did the rub rail. That way it stays off the floor, and we'll start at the bow for the installation. All you do is take the bottom edge of the insert and set it into the bottom edge of the rub rail. You'll do that as you go along, and sometimes when it's open enough, you can push it in with your thumbs, but most of the time you're going to probably need to use a mallet. With the bottom of the insert into the bottom of the rub rail, simply take your mallet and tap. You can't really dent the flex chrome insert or the black pearl insert, but you want to take some extra precaution. You can put a rag up here, and that way you can tap it with your mallet even a little harder if you need to. We've gotten to the final stage of the installation of the new SuproFlex Rub Rail. We've got a really nice polished stainless steel end cap for all of the profiles of the SuproFlex. I'm going to show you how to trim the end of the rub rail and the insert. Install it to the cap and put the insert in and finish it off with the end cap. I'm going to hold up the rub rail and eyeball and measure exactly where the end cap will need to go. This has a little bit of an angle to the transom, so I want to take the top edge of the end cap and get it as close to the edge of the top of the transom as possible. And then I'm going to trim back right about 1/4 of an inch so that it misses this nice bevel. At this point, I want to line up the rub rail to the edge of the cap and drill another hole right here to where one of the number 8 pan head screws is going to go and secure it to the end. All you do now is install the end cap. You simply put it over the edge, mark it, and drill. And that's a wrap. We just finished installing the new SuproFlex Rub Rail. Go to tacomarine.com to learn more about this product. I'm Captain Mark Henderson with Taco Marine and the Liquid Fire Fishing Team with Captain Scott Wenzel of 4 Reel Fishing Charters. See you soon.